Takedown. First blood. Round one. Takedown. Match point. Killing spree. Game over. Victory.
Alright, you saw that clip at the beginning, so I'm going to make sure you don't do that. So let's jump right into this. By the end of this video, we're going to go over all the key points in order to be a GOAT at Splitgate. So I'm going to give you 7 main points here. The first is settings, then managing tilt, aim, weapons, portals, positioning, demonstration at the end, my final thoughts, and then my repetition of telling you to practice. So without further ado, let's hop right into the settings. So, for starters, FOV, you want to crank this B to the very end. You don't want to be dealing with this. I can't even see this guy, and he's right next to me. Once I crank it up to 103, boom. I can tell he's there. Next thing you want to worry about, set your frame rate limit to whatever your monitor runs at. You can check the specs in your settings of your computer. These are all personal preference. Gameplay. So I play keyboard, and if you play controller, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get kills and to be extremely good. You can do it. I recommend having 2 paddles in the back. Those controllers are like probably 25 bucks at GameStop or Amazon or something. And if you bind a portal to each back button so you don't have to move your fingers, you're going to have a lot better time getting kills. Sensitivity is personal preference. Controller sensitivity is also personal preference. Turn off vibration, it'll mess with your aim. These are also personal preference. I prefer ambient volume pretty low so that the cheering in the crowd, it's just for aesthetic effect and it doesn't really affect the game that much. For UI, your crosshairs, I would recommend changing all of them to these crosshairs right here. You can copy these if you want, but find what's comfortable for you. Next, we're going to talk about your aim. So in this game, your aim has to be very good. Not necessarily goated, but extremely good. So you're going to want to hop into things like Aim Labs, which is free, so you can download it on a PC. You're going to want to hop into something like Kovacs as well, if that's what you own. If you're on a console, get to this range and practice flicking in between targets. It's not going to be as quick as a PC player, which is why I stress that PC is better to play this game than a controller. But I also mentioned the paddles and everything, so you can give yourself a pretty clean, fair fight if your aim is good. So I'd say the 3 main points to practice with your aim are flicking, tracking, and strafe tracking. And strafe tracking goes 2 ways. You have to be able to track a target while you're moving back and forth. And you also have to be tracking a target that's also moving back and forth while you're moving back and forth. Because a lot of the times you're going to come up to somebody and you're going to spray them and it's going to look like this. I won't practice on a dummy, but it's going to look like this. Because you're going to be strafing and they're going to be strafing. So, another thing that comes with aim is recoil control. This game, you're going to need very little recoil control. But for example, with the AR, if I'm at a distance and I go like that, I'm not going to be able to control it if I'm just not moving my hand. All I have to do is slightly watch my wrist. Look down here, watch my wrist. I hit almost every bullet and I barely moved, but you have to make sure you're tilting your stick or moving your wrist slightly downwards. Your recoil control will be perfect. And you'll also just get the muscle memory over time as you aim, train, and as you play this game and practice. So another thing is when you're aiming down sights, the recoil also seems greater, so you're going to need to increase your wrist movement. I don't recommend aiming down sights with an AR, however. Another big thing you're going to want to do in Splitgate is track somebody that's flying through the air so that it'll look something like this. You're going to want to simultaneously recoil control and laser them. It's very easy to track someone in the air. They don't move that quickly. You just need very light mouse movements. One thing I will say, in this game, you're going to want to panic a lot. You're going to want to panic flick a lot. If you see someone at a distance and then they see you, you're going to be like, oh shoot, like where are they going to go? Don't do that. In every shooter, that's the case. You don't want to be making these huge wrist movements whenever you're shooting. You're going to want to keep your wrists nice and relaxed. Very small movements when you're tracking. And also, if they start strafing, all you need is movement like this. Watch my wrist again. Just like that. See how it's moving across my screen a decent amount for somebody who's there? They're not going to go from here to here in 2 seconds. But it is Splitgate, so they could just be like, bye, I'm gone. That's beside the point. So make sure you practice your flicking, your tracking, and your strafe tracking. Next up, I'm going to give a brief overview of the weapons. So to start, AR. AR is by far the best gun in the game. That's basically not even debatable, especially in modes where you're playing like a 3v3 or a 4v4, AR is just going to be your absolute best gun, especially on the smaller maps like Simulation Alpha and all the simulation maps. So AR works like this. I already went over the recoil control for both, but in addition, the AR also has incredibly good range. I'm hitting virtually every shot at that range. If you're getting to be this far, it does get a little bit trickier to hit shots. You have to be more precise. But the AR is good at every single range, and if you're hitting headshots, your target's going to die in less than like 2 or 3 seconds. Next up is the carbine. Carbine does 40 to the head, 30 to the body. It's a very, very versatile gun. It's one of the best guns in the game. I'd say second best if you know how to use it correctly. One thing about the carbine is that you don't have to recoil control, because by the time the recoil finishes and brings it back to its original point, it's just that. It's just its original point. So you're not going to need to recoil control at all. You're just going to need to track your target and not let that little jump it's doing throw you off. If you can hit headshots, this gun is a 3-shot. Even if you hit one headshot, the gun is a 3-shot. That's 100 damage. That's 120. And that's 110. If you hit only body shots, it's a 4-shot. But that's an extremely fast time to kill if you know what you're doing. One thing I don't want to see you doing is this. Do not portal next to somebody and do that, because that's not going to be that easy. They're going to be moving around. You're going to have to track them. You can do it if you're extremely good with it, but I would suggest if you're going to get behind somebody, just laser them with an AR. It's much easier to do. So the carbine has a use in every situation, especially when the AR becomes useless, or in game modes like competitive where they don't give you an AR, they give you a pistol. Carbine is your preferred weapon. It has no damage fall off whatsoever. So keep that in mind. Once you get good with a carbine, you can basically laser beam anyone at a long range or a medium range. That's when I would suggest you use it. Battle rifle is just a burst. This gun is extremely viable in virtually every situation. Even at a long range. It does have recoil. So flicking your wrists downwards when you shoot is your best bet if you want to recoil control this thing. But also, hip fire is very important. Pistol, not the greatest. The small mag capacity and its low damage makes it a very bad weapon to use. I would never pick it up intentionally. The only time I would use it is if I'm in competitive and I have to go up close when the carbine isn't viable, and then I have to go like this, because it does 12 damage up close, which can kill significantly faster than a carbine at close range. SMG, don't really have much to say. This gun is absolutely broken if you're up close. At far range, it does have a little bit of a fall off, especially because it becomes hard to hit and it does no damage. So I suggest don't use this gun at long range, because you're going to be burning through the magazine way too quickly. Sniper. If you can hit headies with this gun, or even bodies, you're golden. Even if you can go like this, your target's going to be dead in less than a second. One way I like to use the sniper is I like to shoot a body shot and then just follow up with my AR. It's just like in Fortnite. Oh gosh, did I just reference Fortnite, dude? No way. As soon as you pick the sniper up in a game, just keep using it. Don't conserve ammo, because if you die, you're just going to drop it. So whenever you pick up a decent gun, just use it. Try to hit shots after you portal with the sniper, because someone's going to be caught very off guard. For example, you go like this. You can sneak around and probably hit a follow-up snipe if your aim is good enough. Or you could do something like this, because right away, that's an insta-kill. Not much to say about the RPG. You're not going to be using this in competitive situations. It's just a one-click kill. Railgun also, you just have to be able to track if your target's moving around. Plasma rifle only uses that close range. This gun is very good, though. If you're up close to somebody, just follow a little bit in front of them so that they just run into the bullets. If you're at long range, just don't use it. It has no fall off, but the likelihood that you're going to land shots is extremely low. BFB has a huge lunge. It's a one-shot kill. Not much more to say except abuse the lunge, because it's enormous. You just teleport right to them. And of course, the infamous shotgun. This gun is ridiculously overpowered. If you don't kill them up close, a couple follow-up shots with your secondary, and boom, you're going to get the kill. So those are all the weapons. That's how I would use them. now we're going to hop into the concept of managing tilt. And so I'm just going to talk through this part. So keep in mind, this game has no level ups, which means everything in the game that you can buy is cosmetic. So nothing will increase your gun's capabilities, nothing will increase your skills other than your skills themselves. So you need to practice, you need to get your skills good, and when you die, you just need to assess why you died. That's why I suggest turning kill cams on so you can see how you died, why you died, and how you can not die that way again. Sometimes you just get unlucky. In that case, you definitely should not get angry, because getting mad at an unlucky kill is just going to be detrimental to you in the long run. So this game is also not that easy. It takes a lot of practice to master, especially the portal concept. I mean, that can be otherworldly to people who are used to boots on the ground shooters. Even people who are used to playing Portal and Halo, it's going to take some getting used to combining them in the same game. So you may mess up, but just relax and know that you're just learning. And look, being bad at a game or making mistakes in a game, it sucks. But eventually you're going to get better. So don't quit just because you're making mistakes. That's the last thing you want to do. Be tough, hop in those games, make those mistakes, because eventually you're going to be the only one that doesn't quit, while everyone else makes mistakes and quits, and you're going to be sticking with it the whole time. So that being said, try not to get tilted. Just relax, enjoy the game, enjoy getting better, because you're not going to practice and get no results. You're going to practice, you're going to get results. Trust me. Okay, next is my favorite thing to talk about, and that's portals. So portals are the biggest part of this game, and their use is to close and open distance. It's not just, oh, to get over there. It's all about your positioning and how you're positioned in relation to the enemy. If you think you're going to close the distance between you and the enemy, that's why you should use a portal, for nothing else. So for example, if I'm playing Takedown or Showdown, and I spawn here, and I want to get into the enemy's spawn, it's as simple as this. And now I'm here. If I do that quickly, I'm here, and that took about 5 seconds, I would estimate. So, how am I doing this? So, each portal is bound to a different button, obviously. And how you want to think about portals is, again, they close and open distance. So, if there's somebody up here flying across, and I'm trying to take them out, and I think they might be able to sneak through that corner before I get the kill, I need to make sure I'm positioned close to them, or I'm positioned to an angle that can pick them off. How would I do that? I shoot them, they're behind there. I feel like I'm in Dora the Explorer right now. What would you do? So if you said you'd go here, you're absolutely right. So the way I think about portals is that if they're behind this wall, and I know they haven't quite dropped down yet, if you know the map, there is a little drop right there. How would I go about this? So I shoot where I want to go, and then I find the closest portal surface to me, and I shoot the other one there. It doesn't matter where you put the second, as long as it's as close to you as humanly possible. I'm through, and now he's dead. If I were to be able to think fast about this, it would go laser, shoot, position, now he's dead. So you can think about it that way. So that's one way I love to use portals, is to close distance. But let's say I'm getting lasered and I'm almost dead. Now I need to get as far away as humanly possible. So what am I going to do? If I'm lasered here, I'm going to do that. Again, it looks like this. I'm not paying attention, I'm watching this. I get shot from here, I'm super low. I instantly have to go to the farthest thing. That's why flicking is very important. Your aim has to be important here. So, I'm getting lasered. Get to the farthest wall. Find the closest surface, which is the one directly behind me, not that one. If I were to go to this one, I would die before I hit there. So, I want to go here. And now I'm gone. But, let's just say for the sake of example, and for an advanced example, I'm playing against a good player. A good player would come up here, laser me. I'd shoot this here, but he would know that I would be coming out there, or roughly around this point. So he would probably round this corner and shoot me, and now I'm dead. So another thing you can do is think about where you're going to end up. You have to think 2 or 3 steps ahead of your opponent. If he's coming from here, I could easily shoot behind him and get behind this corner, cut off his line of sight before anything ever happens. Or, if you want to take it a step further, I could theoretically get here, and then if I want to close it even more, shoot it here, and now jump back through. And this is another concept that leads me into, which is the concept of not always shooting 2 portals like I just did there. If I shoot my purple, then my yellow, to get through. What color is this one now? It's purple, right? Come through. Now it's purple. So if I shoot my yellow, all I have to do is jump back through. I don't have to reopen a new portal. So if I were like this, and I want to get over here, and I want to get back to my spawn, I don't have to shoot the purple one and then the yellow one again, because the purple will just close that. It just wastes time. It doesn't waste that much time, but in a competitive situation, that could be the difference between life or death. Now I'm here, no sweat. And so building your speed with portals is just a matter of hopping into a custom game and just portaling to random locations, pretending there's a guy there. Maybe shoot to get behind him. Shoot to move around. Sometimes you're going to be slower, like I just was there. Sometimes you're going to miss, like I did there. It's just all about getting that practice in. So the next thing I want to talk about is if you're just in a position where it's a very simple kill, but maybe you don't want to get shot because you figure his teammates might be around. So if this guy down here, and I just want to pick him off quickly, shoot, portal behind, and then finish him off. And then I can just get the heck out of there if I want to. Or if there's a guy running towards that bottom ledge, I could just shoot him, portal down here, and now he's dead. So honestly, that's a pretty simple concept, but I would say the one most important tip to give you for that is, again, first of all, make sure that you don't have to move your hands that much, because if I were moving my finger like off the joystick to shoot a portal, it means I have less time to move. I do that, have to put my hand back, and then go there. That's why most controller players are very slow. So to take away from that, your portals have to be fast and they have to be accurate. The next thing I want to talk about applies most of the modes of Showdown and Takedown, which I believe are the modes that require the most skill. So if you're in a situation where you can't find the enemy and you need to find them first, what you need to do is start covering the areas of the map. But you don't want to just run around because, one, your footsteps are super loud and they'll give you away. But also you can cover the map a lot more quickly if you use your portals. So, just as an example, let's say it's a 1v1 situation. I know there's nobody else on this map and it's just me. But let's just say they're going to be sitting right there in that corner. But I don't know that, right? So I'm going to cover this part of the map first. So, boom. I know this spawn is clear. I know that little corner is clear. So I need to get over to the other spawn as fast as humanly possible. So, you go boom. 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 And now essentially what you've done is you've covered your spawn and this spawn. So now we've minimized the chances that he will be there or there. And the chances that he rotated back to your spawn off of just blind luck are pretty low. So next, you want to check the entire top. So how I would do that is check it like this. And maybe I'd peek through the portal first before I step through, just to make sure he wasn't sitting in any weird corners. So I know he's not there, and I can just jump across and know if he's there or not. And he's not. So, now, you can check here, and see he was sitting in this corner originally, so now I would have found him. But let's say he's not here. I can just jump across, and now I'm here. And then if he's not there, my final check is here, and here. And now I've effectively covered every single corner of the map, and I would have guaranteed that I found him. And I'm going to be a lot faster at it because I can portal around and move around quickly. So that about sums up what I want to say about that concept. Some things to keep in the back of your mind is always have a way out if you're going to get shot. So if I'm just covering this distance right here, let's say I'm not portaling around, and I were to get shot right here, I kind of want to be aiming at a portal surface already. So if I were to get shot from behind, I can quickly get the heck out of there and cut off my line of sight and just get out. So that's one thing. Always keep your eye on portal surfaces. Every time I aim down a corner, I'm more or less paying more attention to the portal surfaces than if someone rounds the corner, because enemies are very obvious in this game. It's not like Call of Duty when they're half invisible, and this game is also very different from COD. So whenever you aim down corners, I would honestly aim at surfaces, because then if someone were to round the corner, instead of having to move towards the surface, which is generally pretty easy because it's a huge target, you're already on it. And then you can get behind them and make your move this way. Makes it a lot simpler. One other concept I want to note is that portal camping is pretty stupid, because when you get to higher elos, or when you're just playing against a good player, if they see a portal that's flashing, they're just going to spam through it, and you're probably going to die before you kill them. And I know that sounds ridiculous because you can see them and they can't see you. Trust me, I've gotten so many kills on portal campers because I just... 5 minutes remaining. I've gotten so many kills through portals because the enemy's just sitting on the other side, and I know he is, because they flash when there's somebody there, so you got to pay attention to that. That's just one of the in-game tips. So I can give a couple examples of plays right now. So if I were to spawn here, I like to do this as well. I'm going to have a lot more videos that go in depth about the spawn starts and how you can get back quickly into the enemy spawn and different routes you can run. But for starters, let's say I spawn here on Simulation Bravo. So if I don't want to go here in the back and I want to let my teammate that spawned in the center take that, what I do is I go here and then I go across like this. They never expect you to be here, because when they come through, they're like, oh, they're all over there. But then you can peek out and shoot them from here. And then push comes to shove, right? You can peek and then you can shoot a portal behind, and now you're in full flank. So that's just an example of what portals can do. But you have to make sure you can use portals fast and effective. And the only way you can do that is just through practice. Run around the maps, get the portals down, change your button bindings to where you can get those portals down quickly. And one more tip for portals for console players before I wrap this section up is that if you play on Bumper Jumper or Bumper Jumper Tactical, it's better. Just look up those controls and you'll see what I mean. But long story short, it's when you jump with LB and crouch with the right stick, and then your portals are going to be on the A button and the right bumper. Alright, now I've taken you over to my other favorite map, which is Simulation Foxtrot. So now I'm going to talk about positioning. So positioning in this game is honestly very unimportant, but also can be essential at certain points in the game. And so some general first-person shooter tips about positioning is that you want to be cut off from a lot of lines of sight. Like this whole line of sight is cut off, so anyone who's here won't be able to see me, which is very important. And also, if I were to go like this, I'm able to be shot by everyone in the map. And sometimes this can be fine because you can just quickly reposition. That's why positioning is less important in this game, because you can go anywhere. So obviously that makes positioning a lot less important. But if you're getting shot, always make sure you can find the quickest way to cut off your line of sight. It doesn't matter how you do it. And most of the time, it's going to be accomplished by portals. So as an example, this spot right here is extremely easy to cut off their line of sight. So if I were to get shot, I would either reposition behind them and cut this line off, or I would shoot it across and then drop to the bottom. And now they have no idea where I am. And then perhaps if they haven't moved after me, I can quickly retake this part of the map and still find them maybe there. Or maybe they've repositioned to the top, or maybe they've dropped to come and chase me. So now I have the upper hand because I know where they were last, and they have no idea where I am. But it also could be the flip-flop. If you're playing against a good player, chances are you'll have no clue where they are, and you need to find them again. So this game can be very back and forth if two very good players are playing against each other. So that's why this game can get pretty interesting. So that's all I really have for positioning. Just make sure you're positioning yourself in a way where you have the advantage at all times. Another way to position yourself well in this map when you spawn is to go like this, and then shoot this back wall, and then now you're in their back spawn. I would typically want to be positioned behind the enemy, because then not only can you track where their portals go, you can also follow them if they make a weird move, or you're just going to kill them if they don't have enough reflexes to portal. So I would say typically position yourself behind people. So the last lecture I have is about speed of play. So in order to be good at this game and to beat good players, you just have to be faster than them, and you have to be able to anticipate and think faster. So a good example of that is, one, always get in their back spawn when you first start, and if they anticipate it, make sure you can quickly reposition. You have to be able to think 3 steps ahead. So for example, if I spawn here, I come through here, and then I get into their back spawn this way. But, oh no, they were already anticipating it because maybe I've done it once or twice in the game. I have to be able to know that they might do that, and then I can quickly reposition. And if I really have to, I can just get back to my side, and now I'm safe with my teammates. So it's all about thinking 3 steps ahead. Another decent example is if you're below here, I have a decent amount of surfaces to work with here. So if someone were to come through here and start shooting me, I could reposition here, sneak in a couple shots, sneak back through, make another play, maybe give myself some cover. I could switch sides. I could get back here, and maybe he's portaled away, or maybe he's just trying to find me. Most of the time when you're portaling around, it's just distracting, and people try to look for you because they're aggravated that you're absolutely a beast and you're sweating on them, and they're just not as good as you. So once you can get fast, you can start thinking really quickly about certain situations, especially when it involves shooting somebody else in the back. So if I were to shoot across at this guy, if there were a guy here, I could quickly sneak through here, shoot him, jump back through, and now I can just flick back right to him. Remember, you have to know where your portal is going to put you. It's always going to put you facing where the portal's facing. So if I look through and I know the guy is right there from this point of view, I have to know that when I sneak back through, he'll be to my left. That's just kind of a sense you'll develop over time. So that about covers everything. Speed of play is extremely important, and you just have to be able to make all your plays quickly and efficiently. So sneak in a couple shots, sneak back through, stuff like that. These are all excellent strategies in order to secure those kills. And over time, if you intentionally go into a game and practice these specific things, not caring if you die or if you fail, eventually you'll just get so good at them that they'll become a habit and you won't even have to think about it anymore. Not only that, you'll secure the kill practically every time, even against a player that's good, because good players can typically just portal fast. They can't think fast. You have to be able to think and portal fast and aim well and position yourself well. So watch this video again if you want to. Listen to all my tips that I give you, and if you practice all this stuff, you're going to be such a great player. You're just going to be able to jump around the map. You're going to be able to portal around the map. You're going to be an absolute machine when it comes to hitting those portals. So thanks for watching this part of the video. Rewatch for any other tips you want repeated, and I'm just going to hop right into a game. So, we got evolution on alpha again.
1. Evolution.
I know these players are good.
Double kill. 1 enemy remaining.
Again, all I'm doing, making my position very difficult to find. I'm gonna let my teammate do the work here.
Stand off.
Okay, 1v1. I'm just gonna reposition, reload. Okay, he's not back here. So he's either underneath or on the other side. He just gave away his location. So predictable, right? Because I saw him put that there. It's very easy to read that.
Round starts.
I was able to kill all 3 of them, and they're all good players.
2, 1.
They didn't catch on to where I was the first time, so I'm going to do that again.
One enemy remaining. Round 1.
Not much to be said. So the reason I'm going underneath and kind of sitting there for a second is because if I move too quickly, they're just going to kill me because they anticipate that I'm going to go behind and all 3 of them are going to shoot me at the same time. So be aware of the situations you know you're probably going to die. This guy has his bat out, so that's unwise. I knew he was running around with his bat, so all I did was I kept my distance, didn't push in too close to him. So make sure you have some discipline when you're next to somebody and they have something that can absolutely wreck you at close range.
3, 2.
I'll just keep doing the same thing.
Evolution.
He read me like a book.
Last man standing.
Okay, so now they know I'm gonna do that, so now I gotta change it up. Ooh, that was risky. Never try to do that in a pinch. Hit those tough spots. You just gotta get the heck out of there as quickly as possible.
Round starts in 3, 2.
I'm gonna play a different position now.
Evolution.
Especially because he had a shotgun. If he had another gun, perhaps I would have had an easier time. One's coming up here. He might go up the top.
One enemy remaining.
There's one behind me now.
Round
That's good.
1.
So, I know his portal probably went behind me, but because I had his teammate in a place where I knew if he ran out that wall, he was going to shoot at the top wall and do a little switch. Sometimes
Round
just
starts in
make the trade.
3, 2, 1. Evolution. Match point.
That dude's lasered. Oh, my fault.
One enemy remaining.
Don't close your portals prematurely. That's a decent tip.
Game
Easy
over.
read. He made a mistake.
Victory.
I wouldn't do a portal that obvious in this situation unless you're absolutely ready to reposition. Alright guys, that wraps it up. Thanks big time for watching this. If you enjoyed it, hit like, hit subscribe. If it was very clear, let me know. If it wasn't as clear and you need more clarity, comment. I'll make another video about it. I'm going to drop videos about running routes in Showdown and Takedown. I'm also going to drop other games as well because Splitgate is not the only game I play, but it's one of my best games. If you guys want anything else, request it down below, and I'll see you next time.